Okay, I'm back again for my third video. So I hope you guys don't get. I'm trying not to be monotone so you don't get bored, but or I don't know, don't lose interest. So I went to the doctor today, and I told you guys in my another update video that I had took my NuvaRing out, and I was kind of nervous about going to the doctor. Well, I went today, and he's like, the nurse asked me all the questions about birth control, blah blah blah. So then the doctor comes in. He's like, "I heard you took your NuvaRing out." I'm like, "Great, I didn't have to say it." I was like, "Yeah, I did." So he's like, "Well, you know that you're very fertile right now, and that there is a high chance that you could become pregnant." And so I said, "Yes, I'm aware of that." And he said, "Well, are you prepared if you do?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I am prepared if I do." And he asked me, "Was I ready?" and everything. And then he says, he tells me that, trying to think, what else did he say? Um, then we talk about that for a little while. I asked him, is there anything that I could do, like in the future, like precautions I should take, or anything of that nature. And he said, no, there's really nothing that I could do, and that he read my autopsy report, which I understand why he had access to it, but I haven't even got a copy of it. So I'm wondering, like, um, yeah, when am I gonna get that on paper? But I don't know. But so he told me, okay, Emmanuel passed, died because he had an infection or a bacteria in his arteries. That's what the autopsy report said. But other than that, he had no other abnormalities. And they he said that there's really nothing that I could have done um, to prevent it from happening. It's just one of those things that we just don't know how it happened. And so I'm like, I'm asking him like, okay, well, does it maybe did I was it because I ate deli meat? Because they say don't eat, or in some books, pregnancy books, they tell you to to kind of avoid deli meat because it has listeria, which is a bacteria that newborns, or not newborns, but when you're pregnant, that you shouldn't introduce into your body, or not introduce, but to eat. So I'm like, well, maybe is that why? Because I ate a couple slices of deli meat, or I had cold meat, so whatever. He's like, starts laughing. He's like, no, that's not why. I'm like, well, it's because of yeast infections. He was like, if yeast infections was the reason why your child died, he was like, that means 90% of babies wouldn't make it, because a woman always gets, because it's more moist and warm down there when you're pregnant. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to think, like, was it because I went swimming that one day? Because, I went swimming, and there was like, it was at the pool, my apartment complex, and there was duck feathers in there, blah blah blah, and different stuff. And maybe is that why? And he's like, no, nothing you could have done. He was like, did you not believe me when I told you that before? And I was like, no, I'm just gonna be frank. No, I did not, because I felt like there was something that I could have done to prevent it. And maybe it's because I didn't do this, and all these other miscellaneous things running through my head. And but he was like, no, it's just something that can't explain why it happened. But so I started to get emotional. He's like, oh, I thought you said that you've been doing okay. And I'm like, I have. But it's different when you put a reason with some, to why somebody passed. Because if you don't know before, you don't have any type of closure. You don't know what to expect the next time, or what to make of this time that it happened. So he just reminded me that it was very rare that it happened to me. Would it happen again? He's like, more than likely no, because he's like, but he can't say like for sure, because it's kind of like, the way he told me was like, it's the probability of somebody getting hit by a car, and then the probability of them getting hit again by a car. So like, I'm like, okay, that's pretty, slim, slim chance. It's possible, but it's not impossible. Um, so yeah, so I was like, okay. So he was like, so if I got pregnant again, I wouldn't. There's not a good chance of me having the same thing repeat again. And he's recommended that I wait 6 months before I get pregnant or try to get pregnant again. Um, don't know how that will go, but we'll see. Let's see what else. Oh, and also, okay, so Emmanuel, which I was trying to look up real quick. Um, oops. And the reason being because he told me it was it was called sepsis, or whatever the disease or the illness or infection is called sepsis. And what he said is that it's probably better for me to think of it like this. Through his let's see, his death. Okay, through his death, Emmanuel saved my life because had when I was getting all the symptoms, the infection had already started to spread to me, and he said I could have lost my life, and if I had came earlier when he was alive, he said the most they could have done was put me on antibiotics, but even that is not guaranteed to help Emmanuel. It would have helped me, but not Emmanuel. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna read this real quick. It says sepsis is a systemic inflammatory response to infection in which there is a fever or hypothermia, which I was experiencing both before I came to the hospital. Tachycardia, tachypnea, which tachycardia means like a fast heartbeat, and tachypnea means quick respirations, like like breathing real fast. And evidence of inadequate blood flow to the internal organs. So, and it says that the syndrome is a common cause of death in critically ill patients. Roughly 50% of patients with sepsis die. Between 200,000 and 400,000 deaths due to sepsis occur annually in the U.S. Pathogenic organisms, including bacteria, microbacteria, fungi, protozoa, and viruses, may initiate the cascade of inflammatory reactions that constitute sepsis. The number of patients with sepsis has increased significantly in the last 25 years as a result of several factors. And yeah, this thing goes on. So yeah. So basically, it's not something that, anybody want to get sick with. And so, yeah, that's why I said he saved my life, because, and, my body, the way my body could help me too was to put me into labor, so that way I wouldn't get the infection. So, which, I mean, in a way, normally you're used to the baby, a mother putting her life on the line for her child. But in this case, my child was, he died and my life was spared. And, yeah. So, I mean, in the way it makes me feel, I feel grateful to Emmanuel in a way that, my life, that he, like the doctor said, through his death saved my life. Like, I'm extremely grateful. Like, I would have preferred to put my life on the line, but, but it was the other way around. And, me and my husband, just got married and everything. So, I don't know, we just really, grateful. But we just wish that all three of us could have made it out, out of this pregnancy, out of this process, healthy, sound, and everything okay. We just wanted to have a healthy pregnancy. We just wanted to have our child and raise our family, but it didn't happen that way. So, but are we planning on conceiving again? Yes, we are. We are planning on conceiving again. We are my fears that I had originally, as far as like would I be able to love another child, or have the same emotional bond as with another child as I did with Emmanuel during my pregnancy. Um, all of that I'm kind of over. Like, I just had to realize that, you know, another child is still my flesh and blood. It's still Emmanuel's brother or sister, and they still deserve to be nurtured, loved, and cared for. So, and everything. So, not that I would do any less, but they deserve to have that bond that I would have had with Emmanuel too. And that's what I would have done if he was here. So, therefore, I am ready to conceive again, like, you know, in the future or whatever. Um, what else? There was something else I wanted to say. But yeah, so basically, the doctor told me just to take my prenatals, because he expects to see me in 2 months because he feels like I'll be pregnant. I'll become pregnant in 2 months. So I'm like, okay. Hold on, my phone's ringing. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take my prenatals because I kind of slacked off taking it because I figured that I wasn't pregnant. And I also had 2 cycles in October, and he said that was because I took the NuvaRing out. NuvaRing was going to put my cycles onto a regular pattern. I took it out, which disrupted that. So not only is my cycles disrupted because of the NuvaRing and because of the pregnancy and having Emmanuel, but it's also, those 2 combinations will make me have a irregular period. But nevertheless, I should still have one in November. And if I don't, oh, guess what? Sean's pregnant. But we don't know. Well, not that we don't know, but there is a possibility since we're not doing anything to prevent that from happening. So, but yeah. So, pray for me, and I'll keep you guys in my prayers. Thanks for all your comments and your thoughts. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Yeah. I think I want to do one more video just because I just bought some 3 things. But anyways, so yeah, and oh, and you know, just so you guys know, like a little hint, I guess, if I do get pregnant again, I'm not going to say anything to anybody until I think 6 months or till I start the show, one or the other. So a video blog I probably won't do because I don't know, I don't want to tell anybody, just, and that has something to do with, you know, what happened with Emmanuel. Hey, cut it out. But that has something to do with Emmanuel and what happened with him. So my plan for if I get pregnant again is that, 1, I'm not telling anybody until I start the show, besides my husband and maybe like another trusted friend and anybody else who recognizes right off. 2, I'm not going to buy anything. I will set money aside, but I won't buy anything until after I give birth and everything's okay. I mean, like, you know, basic stuff. If I make it that far, then, you know, just basic stuff will I, you know, get. And as far as the crib and all that stuff, we won't buy it until afterwards, after I have them and everything's okay, after I have the baby. Not that I'm pregnant now, but when the event that I do. No. Trey. So yeah, in the event that I do. And but yeah, those, so yeah, but yeah, as soon as everybody else finds out, when and if I do get pregnant, once everybody else find out, I will come on YouTube and start my video blogs. And I think about it, and I think that I will do video blogs, you know, for my child to see in the future, but not to put on YouTube until everybody else knows. And guys, I want to show you guys my dog. Come here, Trey. Come here. This is my puppy. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to show his business. Say hi, Trey. Say hi, Trey. What you do, Trey? Look. This is Trey. Mr. Trey. Mr. Trey, what you do? You don't do that. That's my puppy. He's not that big. This would have been Emmanuel's doggy. But I've had him since he was like months old. So, yeah. Say bye, Tway. Say bye. He's not even paying attention, guys. Alright. Knock it down. Alright, guys. I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Oh, I need to brush him. Thanks for watching and everything, subscribing. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll talk to you guys later.